Well, we just have a few minutes left, so I'm just going to ask each of the panelists to just give one or two examples of what you can do in terms of walking, out of here. I think that we successfully, hopefully, made the business case for why businesses should be interested in this area and at least become aware of it, whether it's the right thing to do, the smart thing to do from a business perspective, or the stick, which is the least palatable of the three. So we're hoping through organizations like the Business Coalition Against Human Trafficking and in support of NGOs and government and the other sectors working on this, that we will, as David said, get in front of this and be more proactive as opposed to waiting for the stick. But with that, if in the last couple of minutes, if just each of you could give one or two thoughts.
I'd encourage you to get to know more about the problem. Any business, get to know more about the problem. Just do the Slavery Footprint app. It's actually fun to do. It actually tells you a lot about your life. Log on to CNN. The slavery programs that they've been doing over the last year, they've got a special part of their website. And it's got all of the initiatives on there, including the training that we developed with Microsoft for employees. This is all free. And it's all really, really professionally put together. So log on to some sites and have a look at the resources. Start raising the question inside of your company, saying, what are we doing about this? Because it's not just the right thing, it's the smart thing to do.
Find out if your company is required to report out under the California law, and if so, really push for good, strong statements in that disclosure, and not just the simple yes, no, check the box response. The legislation is flawed. It just requires, you can say yes, 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 or no, 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 no. But the fifth part, you have to report out on 5 things, is the company doing any training? And as an employee, you can actually ask for training and explain and work with your HR department to explain why it's important, regardless if the company needs to report out under California Transparency Supply Act. So ask for training. As an employee, it's a good thing to do.
And tell them there's loads of free training. Go on to the End Human Trafficking Now website and get the Manpower Microsoft training for your employees. It's free.
There's a lot of training out there on this topic, and some of you perhaps have already attended it, and it's a very complex issue. And so I would also add to that to make sure that it's good training that's really relevant to the work that you're doing and the interests that you have in the issue. And I think what I would add to that in terms of kind of a next step or action step is supporting evidence-based research to identifying solutions and to preventing the issue from occurring in the first place, and also to provide appropriate recovery services for survivors who have been impacted by human trafficking. Particularly, in my case, I'm interested in children, and I think because of their age, they're more vulnerable, in the statistic kind of to bookend the introduction, that women and children are most impacted by this crime based on gender discrimination, based on age. In this country, children are estimated to be thousands of children who are trafficked each year. However, in about 10 years since the Trafficking Victims Protection Act has passed, only hundreds have been formally identified. So we have potentially a huge victim class that exists, and they represent the minority of those who have been formally identified by our government. So there's a critical gap there, and I'm really interested in looking at what are the systemic issues that are involved, and how do we also improve research and best practices. Right now the funding is primarily federal dollars that are funding programs to provide services, looking at prevention, research. I think that the movement can be invigorated by private sector funding to enhance and augment the work that's already being done, very much kind of on a response basis, an emergency response basis, to be more comprehensive and more holistic, and really look at prevention and appropriate intervention.
And lastly, I would say just look at your own communities and not perpetuate the myth that it's happening over there. It's happening everywhere and in your own community, and each of you can have an effect in the places on which you live. So with that, I would like to thank all the panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you.